Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Mr. Kadim Khan and I am a lecturer in the Institute of Computing, Quart University of Science and Technology. Today we will take lecture number 21 of the subject of Object-Oriented Analysis and Design, in which we are going to discuss the swings and AWT components in Java. And here in this lecture we are explaining Java combo box, that is J combo box, J menu items, J list with the help of the Java programming examples. Dear students, this is the third lecture of the graphical user interface components. After this lecture we have another lecture for the graphical user interface components, and after that lecture then we will go to the UML designing, where we will discuss different UML diagrams and we will create these diagrams in the tools of the UMLs, that is the Eclipse IDE. So this lecture is also very much important because this lecture will give you insight information about different classes of Java. This is the discussion agenda. It contains the topics of the J combo box. Also we have the topics of J menu items. Also we will explain the J list. All these three are important controls of the GUI, that is the graphical user interface. We will explain each and every one with the Java programming examples, and at the end we have the references. So this is a practical lecture, so you must have to focus on it. First controls, which is in fact an advanced controls called the J combo box. As its name indicates, this provides the combo box, which is also called the drop-down list, and it provides multiple items selections. So from the combo box you can select one or more items here. Unlike the J list, you can select only one items in the J combo box. So it is exactly like when you will click on the buttons, but the main important advantage of J combo box that it takes less amount of space on the GUI as compared to the buttons. So J combo box are implemented with the class J combo box class. This is a special class which is used to instantiate the objects of the J combo box, and it is inherited from the J components. The J combo box generates item events like the J checkboxes and J radio button. So this is the event for the J combo box. When you will click on the J combo box, or when you will select a particular buttons from the J combo box, then this event will be fired and the body of this event define the functionalities. Here is the example of the J combo box. First we will explain the output. For example, in this J combo box we are loading multiple pictures with the .gpg extensions. So when you will select the particular figure or the image, then this image will be displayed here on the GUI. So this J combo box will enable you to click any one image and you can select one of the multiple options, and when that particular option is selected, then the computer will fetch that particular image and will display all the screens here. This is the code of this example. In this code, first we have some libraries. The libraries are import java.awt.styx. This is a package or a library which is responsible for creating the JFrames. And here is another library, that is java.awt.event.styx. This is a library or a package which is used to create the events. For example, public void item state change event. Then we have the import javax.strings.styx library. This is a library which is used to create the components of the strings, which includes J combo box, similarly J labels. Now we have our own class, that is frame1. This is a public class and it is inherited from the J frames. Here we have private J combo box, image combo box. Here we have some images combo box. So here J combo box is the class, while image combo box is the instance of this class. But it is just declaration, it is not instantiating, because later on we will instantiate it here. Now next is our JLabels. Label is the object of the JLabel. Here we have just declared it. Then we have private strings names. Names is the array of the string data types, and it is the private. Here is first label. So first label is in fact here the path here, f colon double backslash 1.jpg, then f colon backslash 2.jpg. Similarly 3.jpg. These are all stores in the app directory. So here we have just arrays of the strings of the names arrays, and there are 3 strings here. Then we have private icons. Here we have defined the icons because these icons will be loaded over this JCombo box. So here we have the arrays of icons, new image icon name 0. In the first icon is provided with this strings. So name 0 represents f colon double backslash 1.jpg, which is passed here. Similarly, the second string is also passed here, and the third string is passed here. Now I can represent 3 different sort of these images which are stored in the app directories 1, 2, 3.jpg with the extension. Here is the constructor of this class frame1, and super testing JCombo box is in fact setting the title of the window. So the title of the window will be testing JCombo box. Next is the containers. Containers get content pins. Container defines the area where all these components will be placed, and the flow layout of the containers is defined here through container.setLayout. New flow layout means that the components added first to this container will be available first, and then next, and so on. So the first component will appear upper left, and then second, and these components will be arranged in that particular sequence from upper left to right positions. Now here is the image combo box object definitions. Here we have just declared this object. So private JCombo box, image combo box. Here is the image combo box is going to new JCombo box, and names array is provided here, and it contains 3 different strings. So this combo box will contains 3 strings. Image combo box dot add item listeners, new item listeners. Here we have defined the events. Event is the item listeners events, that add item listeners events, that when the item state is changed, means that when the different options in the combo box is checked, that is correct in fact, then the public void item state change function will be activated, or it will be called. Now if event that gets state change double equal to item event that selected, if one of the item has been selected, then label.set icons is in fact label. Here we have just declared it here. Now here we are instantiating or defining label.set icons. Then is icons takes the combo box index here. So images combo box that get selected index, which is in fact the reference, means that which reference has been clicked, then this reference will be called here, and it will set the icons. Icon 0 for example will represent this array, and icon 1 will represent this icon, and 2 will represent this icon. And then we have added this combo box inside of the container.add images combo box. So we have added it here. Also we have a label new label icon 0 initially. When the label is defined, so it will in fact fetch the first image, which is icon 0, and container.add label. So label is added inside of the container. The size of the window is 350, 200. That means 350 pixels towards the x-axis and 200 pixels towards the y-axis. And set visible true means the window will appear. Now here is the public statement while main Function string yes, this is the void main function, and in every Java program there must be at least one void main function. Frame 1 application new frame 1. Here we have defined the objects of the frameworks, and the object of the framework is application. So when the object will be instantiated inside of the void main function, then the constructor will be called and the constructor will provide all the functionalities. Application that set default close operation jif frame dot exit on close. So when this cross button will be clicked, then the application will be closed here. So this is in fact exiting or closing the GIF frame here. Dear students, in fact we will run this example in our Eclipse IDE for this purpose. So just exit the slides or show and show of the slides. Go to your Eclipse IDE where you have installed. I have 2019 version. Similarly, I have 2020 version, but I will use the latest 2020 version, which contains many features as compared to the previous version. So, meanwhile, the Eclipse IDE is in fact running for us. Then we will execute this code. So before executing, we will transfer all this code to our Eclipse IDE. So you can in fact create the new project, or you can also transfer this code to the existing projects. So it is up to you. If you have already previous projects, you can also utilize that particular project for this code as well. So first you can see that in this example we are using three different files of the .gpg instruction extension, and these files are in the F directory. So make sure that all these files are available for you. So this is my F directory. I have these three images, one with the name of 1, 2, 3, and these are in fact the images of the books here. So here is the Eclipse IDE which has been opened for me. Now I will go to the slides. Go to the slides. First you need to transfer this part of your code into your slides. You know that the class name is here framework. So here the class name is class 1. So later on I will change this code, the class name in fact. So this is in fact frame 1. So I need to change this into class 1. It is class 1. This is class 1. Okay. Next, also I need to change the constructor name here. So I will write class 1. Constructor has also been changed. Now go to the second portion of the slides. Also transfer the slides to your Eclipse IDE. This is the Eclipse IDE, and again go to the last portion here and also transfer this code to your final part of your Eclipse IDE. That is, now here I will change it to class 1 because my previous project have a class 1, not frame 1. That's why I will change it to class 1. Now our code has been completely transferred, and you can see there is no error in this code. So we will execute the code by clicking this green button here, which is the run buttons. So click this green button. You can see this is the output of this code. So this is in fact fetched from the F directory. First picture is 1.gpg. If I click on this, so next you can see that. So click here. This is 2.gpg. Next is the third. This is 3.gpg. Back to first. This is 1.gpg. This is 3. So this is that a demo which in fact demonstrates how you can use the combo box in Java. You can select multiple options here. Okay, so now we will resume our slides for the next example. The next important component for the GUI is called the JMenu items. Swings J-menu items component are the subclass of the J component class, and it is used to provide the collection of clickable buttons. So the J-menu items contains multiple buttons, and these buttons are in fact in the toolbars here in the top on the top of the GUI. J-menu items has a constructors. You can declare the objects of the J-menu items. So J-menu items arrays item is equal to new J-menu items. String labels. Here you will provide the strings, and the string will be defined. A string will be used to define the label over the J-menu item. Similarly, J-menu items arrays item is equal to J-menu item arrays. So this is the erase button. When it will be clicked, it will erase the drawings. Here is the example. So before the example, here is the output for us. For example, when you will click on the erase, then this notepad will be erased. So that means the previous typing will be erased. And when you will click on the color, so you can define the background colors of this input dialog box, that is the notepad. So red, green, blue, pink, black, etc. These are different colors, and you can see that there are many J-menu items here. While these are J-menus, so you can place multiple items in the J-menus here. This is the code here. First we have the swings libraries, and then we have the AWT library. Swing library is used to define the swing components in Java like J-menu bar, J-menu. Similarly, these are different J-menus, and this is the J-menu bar here. Then we have J-menu item as well. Next is the AWT.event. So abstracts windowing toolkits.event defines the events. So when that particular menu will be clicked, then the body of the event will be executed. And AWT.static defines the J frames here. So abstract windowing toolkits defines the frames. Then we have declared our own class frame1 extend JFrames. It is inherited from the JFrames. Here is the public frame1, and this dot set size 400, 400. This defines the size of the window. Now here is the J-menu bar. J-menu bars contains different sort of the J-menu. So first we need to define the J-menu bars. This is the object of the J-menu bar, and here is the J-menu bar constructors. Next are in fact three different J-menus. First one is called file, then we have edit menus, and here is the color menus. We have added these menus inside of this J-menu bar. So menu bar.add file menus, menu bar.add edit menus, and menu bar.add color menus. Then we have J-menu items. J-menu items defines the item inside of these J-menus. So first we have defined J-menu item quit, and then we have in fact defined here the actions with the quit. So here quick item dot add action listeners, new action listener, public void action performed, action event each system dot exit -1. So means that when this menu will be clicked through this events, then the system will be closed. Means that the output will be closed. Secondly, J-menu item, erase item, new J-menu item, erase item dot add action listener, new action listeners, public void action performed, action event E, get content print dot set background color dot white. So it takes the content prints and its backgrounds is set with the white colors. Color dot white is the in fact white is the property of the color class. Then we have defined another menu, red menu, and it will set the red colors here. Then we have another green, blue, and pink and black colors. So all these menu items define different colors, and it defines the colors of the content pin. Next, file menu that add quit items means that in the file menu we have added quit items. In the edit menu we have added erase items, and in the color menu we have added these 5 colors. So red items, green items, blue items, pink items, and black items are added to this color menu. This dot set default close operation jframe dot exit underscore on close. So When the cross button will be clicked, then the window will be closed here. This dot get contentment dot set background color dot white. So initially the contentment colors will be white, and this dot set menu bars means that here in the constructor or in this current class object, which is this, we have defined the menu bars. We have added menu bars in the by using set j menu bars in the current class object, which is this, and its title will be menu example, because dot set title function define the title here. This dot set visible true means that when the program will be executed, this will keep the window on or it will keep the window appeared. Here is the public string wildman function string here just frame1 f is equal to new frame1. It is the public string wildman function. Every Java program must have at least one function which is called the wildman function, and here we have just defined the object of the frame1 f is equal to new frame1, and this defines the constructor here. Now dear student, we will execute this code in our Eclipse IDE. For this purpose, exit the slides. So I'm exiting the slides. So first you need to copy this part of the code here into your already existing project. So first you have to erase the previous code, and then you have to transfer in sequence each and every side of the code. So I have transferred first per slides code, then again also here you have to transfer this code here in the your Eclipse IDE. So next you have to change the class names. Here our class name is class 1, but here in this example our class name is not class 1, it is frame1. So we will change it from frame1 to class 1. And again also we need to change the constructor name as well. And at the end we have wildman function. Inside wildman we also need to change the class name, because when the constructor is in fact when the object is instantiated, then the constructor will be called. So our changes are complete. Now we will execute this code. So to execute the code, click on this green button. When you will click this green button, you can see that here are the menus, G menu items. These are G menus items. Well, this is overall 3 different G menus, and this is the G menu bar. So click on red, so you can see that the ground color has been changed. That means that our event is working here. So for example, black and similarly the pink. If you want to erase, you can erase, means that this will become white. If you want to quit, then the output will be quit. So click here, you can see that the output has been quit here. So this is the examples how this J menu bar items are working. So this was the output that we have demonstrated here. The next important controls for creating the graphical user interface in Java is called the JList. A list displays multiple items from which the user may select one or more items. So the JList provides you to create a multiple list of items, and it is inherited from the JList. And JList is in fact inherited from the J components. JList help you to select single selections, or it can also allow you to select multiple items. But when you want to select single selections, so it allows only one item to be selected at one time. And when the multiple selection is allowed, then the JList allows you to select number of items to be selected. So in this sections, we are explaining the JList here. This is the object declarations of object definition of the JList. Here the object name, it can be any user defined name. List is equal to new JList, and it takes the strings arrays here. So first you have to define the strings array, then this list will be instantiated. Now string names contains, for example, the names of the people, for example Ali, Ahmed and Hassan. These are strings. You can also pass the other data types arrays as well, for example integer or float or double. Then you will pass this array names into the constructor of the JList. So JList list new JList names. So you can see that the names are transferred to the JList here. This is the code. So in this JList, you can select exactly one of the options. So you can scroll down or scroll up in this list. When you will select that option, then the color will apply over the window here. So first we have the packages import java.awt.strikes, similarly import java_x.strings.strikes and import java_x.strings.event. This package will provide you the JFrames and also this container object, and this package will provide all the components of the GUIs, which including JList here. And here is the strings.event package, which is responsible to create the event here. Now first we have declares our own class, that is public class frame1 extends from JFrames. JFrame is the existing class and it is inherited here. So frame1 is now the child of the JFrame and JFrame is the parent class. Private white string color name black, blue, cyan, dark gray, green, light gray, and magenta, orange, pink, red, white, and yellow. So these are the strings color names, and these are assigned to the color names arrays, and its data types is strings, and it is the private because it is only accessible within this class and cannot be accessible outside of the class. Also, we have defined the colors array. So color is a class, while this is our own array names. And you can see there is no size because it will take the size from this array. So the size will be in fact the number of the elements in the array. Color.black, color.blue, and so on. All these colors are defined until color.yellow. So we have defined different sort of the colors. Now we have public frame1. Frame1 is the object of this frame1 class. Inside of the frame1 we have the containers, container get content pane. This defines the GUI, full GUI here. Inside of this container we will place the other components. Container.set, we have new flow layouts because we have only one components we want to add. So we define the flow layouts here, which is the freestyle layout. Now JList color list is going to new JList color.names. The color names array, which is here, this is the string color names is provided to the constructor of the JList. Color list.set visible row count 5. So here 5 elements are visible here at one time. That's why set visible row count 5. It contains 5 because at the run times we will see the 5 different items in this JList. Then we have color list.set selection mode, list selection mode single selection. It will define the single selection. You can also define the multiple selection, so you can change this static value. Container.add new jscroll pen. So here the scroll pen is added to the containers. That the scroll pen will be added to the window here. And inside of the jscroll pens we have color list because this scroll pen is added to this color list. Now color list.add list selection listener. So it defined the event of the selection. New list selected listeners. This is the function which will be called through this event here. Public value change. When the value of this list has been changed, then list selection event, this is the objects, list selection event is the class, while event is the object. Container.set background color list.get selected index. This line of code will define the background of these containers, and the background will be in fact taken from this colors as color list that gets selected index. Set size 350, 150, it defines the size of this window. 350 is from the x-axis and 150 is towards the y-axis. So these are the pixels values. Set visibles true means that the windows will be on for us when the program will be executed, then the window will be also available or visible. Here is the public static void main function. It is the void main function which must be in every Java programs. There must be at least one function which is called the void main, and the program execution starting from here. When the object of the frame1 class will be defined, then automatically this constructor will be called here, and the constructor is calling from this position towards up to there. So this constructor defines complete GUI and then also the event which is responsible to change the color, the background color of the container. Now dear student, we will execute this code. For this purpose, click on exit slides. First you need to transfer this part of the code into your Eclipse IDE. So first you have to remove the previous code. Here you can see that first part has been transferred and this is the second and last part. So also transfer this part of your code into your Eclipse IDE. Now you need to change the class names because our class name is class 1, but here in the slides we have frame1. So if you will change this class 1, if you have already frame1 here, so then you will not required to change. So you do not require to change the class names. Okay, so this is class 1, and at the end also I need to change the objects here. Class 1, here is class 1. So you can see that all these are changed here. This should be just 1. Okay, now there is no error in this code. So now we will execute this code. To execute the code, click on this green button. So you select any one of the options here, for example blue. You can see that the background color is changing, dark gray. You can also scroll down, for example white, yellow, red, pink, etc. So this was the demonstration of the color list. So this is the demonstrations which we have demonstrated how you can use the JList for the single selection. Now it is your turn that how you can adopt this JList for the multiple selections here. So you need to make changes here in this line of code. So this was the demonstrations which we have demonstrated here. Dear students, this is the end of the lectures. These are two important book references for you, and these are in fact the book references which will help you to study more. The important book is Java, that is the Java Programming Basics for Absolute Beginners by Nathan Klaus. In fact, the book is here, Think Java, How to Think Like a Computer Scientist, written by Alan Dondry and Chris Mayfield. So you should study these two books. Also, if you have any question, you can ask the question through the email. My email is m.kadim@kaz.edu.pk. I will wait for your question and I will answer you as soon as I get your emails. Thank you very much.